Hi guys, I'm just going to start this video with a disclaimer. If you are someone who really likes the Juicy Couture perfumes, this is not going to be a video for you. This is a video for people who have similar kind of tastes to me and who might not have tried this before, because I've only just tried this. So I don't really like any of the Juicy Couture perfumes that I've smelt prior to smelling this one. I've got a few samples that I haven't managed to get around to reviewing yet. I've smelt the original Juicy Couture perfume in store, and they're just not really for me. And Juicy Couture as a house and as a fashion brand, not at all my aesthetic. These bottles I despise. I know some people think they're cute, and I totally get it. It's just, like I said, really not my aesthetic. If you took away the bit on the front and the bow and it was just a gold bottle with a crystal lid, that would be closer to the kind of more simple styles that I tend to go for and I like. And it's not my kind of kitsch. I don't really like bows, but I've really wanted to try gold couture, and I've never seen it in the shops, and this is the first time I've been trying to get a sample of this for literally a couple of years, almost since I started my channel, because people talk about this all the time. People on YouTube who have often quite sophisticated taste really like this perfume. So I'm like, there must be something about it. I'm really interested to smell it. And I know that people love this because they talk about it as a caramel perfume. So there are some notes on Fragrantica, and the notes say wild berries, gardenia, lily of the valley, and that's in the top. And then in the mid, it's honeysuckle, jasmine, sambac, vanilla, orchid. Base notes, caramel, vanilla, sandalwood and praline. But what I'll point out is that in the inside of this, they also say vanilla cream. So a fruity, floral, creamy perfume. So one of the things that interested me about this, partly I'm just interested because of the caramel that everyone talks about, but also the Viva La Juicy perfumes, or the Juicy Couture perfumes, often have honeysuckle in them, and they're often voted as being the strongest floral. I really like honeysuckle. I found it really difficult to find honeysuckle perfumes, and most of the honeysuckle perfumes I've smelt don't really smell like honeysuckle. It's nearly always mixed with jasmine, and I find jasmine to always be quite an overpowering floral. So I thought, I want to know what this smells like anyway. I want to see what the caramel's like in it, and I want to see if the honeysuckle's strong. And the votes on this say that the caramel is the strongest, the vanilla is the next strongest, then the berries, and then it's a little jump down to honeysuckle. Personally, I'm not getting loads of honeysuckle here. I'm getting a general floral, but this has jasmine, and as you can see here, jasmine is one of the notes that it's highlighted, so I think it's very equal between the jasmine and the honeysuckle, so this doesn't really necessarily smell like honeysuckle to me. It also doesn't massively smell like caramel to me, which I'm quite surprised about. So yeah, the votes on this are 1,603 votes say caramel at the top, and then the berries 700 and something, and the honeysuckles 400 and something. So by a long margin, the votes say this is a caramel perfume. I think the berries in here are so fruity and strong, and the fact that this is like a vanilla cream and praline as well, to me it just smells very sweet and a little bit creamy. It actually smells like the original Viva La Juicy that I've smelt in store, but with more of a creamy sweetness rather than just a kind of generic sweetness. So I think it's probably fair to say that this is the one that I think is the nicest of any of the Juicy Couture perfumes I've ever smelt. But I don't like it. Now this might be an entirely personal thing. I think I can really struggle with floral perfumes that have loads of berries in that are also really sweet. Because I just start to find them very sickly. I think very, very sweet berries in perfumes I feel like I've grown out of that kind of smell. Maybe that's what it is. And again, I will preface this with saying, I really like actually cheap perfumes, perfumes that cost way less than the Juicy Couture perfumes. One of my signatures was a Jean Arthès perfume for a while, and that's like £6 a bottle. Green tea is one of my all-time favourites. That's like £10 a bottle. These are more like 25, 30, just for the smallest 30 ml. So these are more expensive perfumes, and quite a few perfumes that are in my collection. But I think this smells cheap. And I think all of the perfumes from this house I've smell cheap. That might just be because this is the kind of generic, fruity, floral, celebrity style 2000s smell that I've just smelt a million times, and I'm sure people have been ripping off Juicy Couture, and I've smelt it from so many other places as well. But I think that realistically this is also because there is some kind of aroma chemical in all of these that I just don't get along with. So it's totally possible as well that I can't smell the caramel in here because it is an aroma chemical that's supposed to smell like caramel, but I just can't perceive to smell like caramel, because I've definitely smelt some perfumes like that before. I tend to get this kind of just sugary sweetness without much of an actual aroma, if you see what I mean. It's just like sweet, sweet, sweet without anything to explain the sweetness, nothing behind it. And I also get this kind of screechy, piercing smell from most of these perfumes. And that is not just from Juicy Couture, that's from loads of perfumes around this time. And loads of the celeb perfumes, like the Jessica Simpson ones, are like really piercing and also have this weird kind of tarry, woody smell in them. So yeah, I mean, this is just not for me. This is just one that doesn't work for me. But like I said, I do think it's the nicest one out of all of them, but it's not my style. It's not really my vibe. And so it's just not one I would wear, and I wouldn't want to smell like this. I think that's maybe partly it. Like, this would not represent me as a person very well. I just don't think this, like, I'd feel like I was wearing someone else's perfume. And I've had that with perfumes that smell kind of mature and a bit classy, but this one, I think it would be the opposite. I think I would smell like I was trying to smell like a teenage girl in the mid 2000s, you know? So it's just not my kind of thing. But I'd be really, really interested to know, especially with like my subscribers, because I know we all have very different tastes, but I feel like some of you probably are quite sensitive the same way that I am. So I'd be really interested to know what you guys think about this. And whether you're one of the people who absolutely loves it, because it's very, very popular. But yeah, for me, it doesn't work. I don't get the caramel really, and I don't really get the honeysuckle, and I get a lot of berries with some flowers and some very, 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 very sweet notes. But it's definitely creamier than the original, so it's definitely a thicker and more unctuous and nicer version of the original perfume, in my humble opinion. But anyway, yeah, so that's me. That's Viva la Juicy, a Gold Couture. Yeah, I mean, it was fun to try it, but yeah, it's just not my vibe.